Okay, this is my next update video. I'm sorry it's late this month, this time. So let's just get into it. So, what has happened with my transition? First, still waiting to hear back from the surgeon for revision surgery to fix the 3 things that need to be fixed or dealt with, I should say. So I might have to end up calling them. So yeah. Other than that, everything's been going good. The physical changes that's actually happened this last month, since my last update video. Well, I had laser hair removal, which where my hormones are at. Since surgery, now my hormones became normal, or that now it's dramatically, actually surprisingly has helped decrease the facial hair from the laser treatments, because it's not being testosterone filled anymore. So that's really helping. So I noticed the sides here, mostly this side, there's like less hair, I've noticed, and just through, not like the whole thing at once, but like more spots through here and down through here. And I haven't noticed much through here, but it's decreased. So it's actually helping. And you'll have to see from my last treatment, which was yesterday. They said that I don't need to come in again, and we'll just have to see if I feel I need to have another touch-up done, just to call them and let them know. So yeah, and this is actually my underarms, if you can actually see. You can actually see that. It was towards the beginning of last month when I had my first laser appointment since surgery, like treatment. Haven't had any more underarm hair come back. So having my hormones where they're at is really helping a lot. So that feels really good not to have that hair there, because in the past I had issues with the hair. So in terms of like before the physical part of my transition, like the smell combined with parts of it was hard to shave and just the stuff like that, it was just, yeah. And it got to a point where I was starting to be frustrated with it, not comfortable. So I had all those treatments done and surgery and bicalutamide and all that. When I was on bicalutamide, all that had really helped. So yeah, so get your hormones where they need to be, and it will help with the laser treatments or electrolysis if you decide to go electrolysis. That helps a lot because it won't be testosterone filled. So yeah, I've noticed my face is fuller. I've been noticing that. Let's see here, my leg hair. This, I can't really tell much, just because the hair is like spread out. So like it feels like, or looks like it is decreasing here and there, but not a lot. And the hair is still really thin. So yeah. And weirdly enough, I noticed down there, the hair, the pubic hair, the upper part, how in a past video I said it was like, the top part was kind of like a heart shape. Well, that middle part has filled in a little bit. So it seems like the hair pattern is more like, it seems like starting or wanting to go more flat on top. Then like it goes flat here, then the sides kind of go like on an angle like this. So it's basically like that kind of a shape. That's surrounding the mons pubis area into the rest of it. So yeah, that's something I noticed that was kind of weird. I know on my tummy it's about right around this area. I've noticed there is a hair there, but that was from before surgery when my hormones got switched around and I gained some excess body hair. That hair hasn't gone away, so it is what it is. And I've noticed no nipple hair, like around my areolas. They're like just non-existent is what it just seems like lately. Hopefully it stays that way. Another thing, breast development is still happening. Painfully. I had a period of a few days of my breasts were in a growth state and it hurt really bad, and it was up here in this area, mostly on this side through right here. Those both of them where I felt it. So yeah, I'm still a 32G and I'm happy where they're at. I don't want them to be bigger, I don't want them to be smaller, I just want them to be fuller. A full 32G, so I don't have issues on top. Like, I can say like more full coverage bras where it fits better in that kind of a style. So it feels in up here more. That's what I'm wanting with them. Other than that, I'm happy with them where they're at, especially since the sides right through here have filled in. I've been noticing that a lot lately. I have more side tissue and that's helping dramatically with my dysphoria. Because before I didn't really have side tissue, which caused so many issues with clothing fitting the way clothing's supposed to fit, especially bras. And now it's just one of the best things for me, because my breasts, I can say honestly, on my body, they're my favorite body part on me, is my breasts, is number one. Because the bigger and fuller they've gotten, the happier I have been. And down there, my genitalia, I've just been liking it a lot more since my labia majora, the outer labia, has filled in a little bit. Not to the point where it should be filled in, but how much is filled in with everything else. It's been amazing, and it's felt really good. And I'm a lot more happier with that and with my body because of it. And something I've noticed, depending on how much water I have or haven't drinking, like if I'm not hydrated, I notice it does affect the moistened skin of the vaginal canal. And if I'm hydrated enough, I've noticed it's more moistened. The skin's more moistened, so yeah. And I've been noticing how that affects how the vaginal canal and the fluids naturally drain out. Because there's times where I've noticed pretty much on my panties, my underwear, wet spots from the vaginal canal. The more hydrated I am, or the less hydrated I am, I notice the difference. How the fluids, how much there is. So yes, trans women can get wet to a point, because you don't have, it's the Bartholomew glands, I think is what it is. But there's those two glands, and I can't remember what the other two are. That goes right there. But it's the way the canal is constructed. It can get wet a little bit. So yeah, from my experience, when I notice more wetness, that happens, especially when it gets on my panties. It really helps with my dysphoria. I have less dysphoria when that happens. It just feels right and normal for me. So, yeah. Let's see. Anything else I can think of that's really happened besides living in this wonderful place for now? I've just been noticing just how my body's just been changing still. That's the biggest thing I'm noticing. How things are shaped. How things are like more shaped now. Like anywhere from the position I'm sitting in when I dilate, to like using the bathroom, taking a shower, just sitting there on the couch, sitting in bed, just the way the shape of everything of my body just looks and feels right. It just looks and feels right now, compared to before surgery, where I was still struggling to get the curves I'm gaining. In the places where I've been gaining, compared to now, where I'm not struggling anymore with all that. It just feels like me and myself. So yeah, and that hasn't been causing dysphoria, but I know if I lost the weight and lost what I've gained, would cause dysphoria. And I know a lot of people out there, they have issues with their weight being higher, but for me, it was a struggle to get to where I'm at with my weight and where everything is with my body. And that's why when I end up losing weight, it causes dysphoria. Especially if last time I lost weight and how it affected things, because when I do lose weight, it does affect my breast size a little bit, which causes dysphoria, which actually, last time I did lose weight, I physically did not feel good. And it caused a lot of dysphoria. But then after surgery, it took time, but slowly, after the hormones readjusted, because for so long I had to be on the lower dose of estrogen, because when I was on, it was 0.3 ml of the injection, I had to go down to 0.2, and for so long, not being on the higher dose, it took a long time for my body to readjust to that, and especially having surgery and having my body readjust from that as well, while still taking the progesterone at 200 milligrams every night. After all that adjusted and corrected itself without having that testosterone, I started gaining weight, and I gained a cup size to where my breasts are at now. I gained in the tummy area, my butt, my hips, and it just feels right. So when someone says that anything against transition for trans individuals, that it doesn't work, or it's just a phase, or a bunch of that other crap that people have said that I've heard of and whatnot, and all I can say is it's helped me. From my experience, it's helped me, and I don't regret it. It's not a regret. The only thing I would change with transitioning is get on the hormones sooner. If I was able to get on them sooner, I would have. So yeah, so where everything is at now is perfect for my body. And one thing I've noticed is I've gained arm muscle, like the muscles in my arm has gotten bigger. I can't explain why or how that's happened, because my testosterone's lower, my estrogen and progesterone's where it's supposed to be, like my testosterone's at 0, and ever since I started the physical part of my transition, get on the hormones, I've been getting arm muscle, and I have been doing exercises to get them where they're at. And I've noticed since surgery, I've gained a little bit more. So that's where my arm muscles are. So yeah, that's where they're at. And before surgery, before hormones and all that fun stuff, the part right here of the muscle, it was really thin, and it would when I would flex, it would just stick up like this really thin. And now it's actually filled in further like that. So yeah, I can't explain why I've gained arm muscle, and I'm not doing any of the exercises to gain muscle in my arms. That's the thing I've noticed, that I've never heard anyone talk about that who's trans and have been on hormones as long as I have, or any amount of time on hormones. I've never heard anyone talk about gaining muscle structure. Because I've heard of people losing but not gaining. So that's I'm kind of confused about that. So yeah, so if anyone could explain that, I would appreciate it. So yeah, other than that, dilating is going very well. So well that when the dilator is lubricated, it just slips right in. Because the way I've been doing it lately is that erectile tissue that has to be tacked down. You just take the dilator, push against that, basically go in a motion like this, so it swoops down like this in against that erectile tissue into the canal. So I just pretty much push against that and push it in, and it just goes with no issues. Especially if I've drank enough water and have that more moisture down there, it helps even more. But the times I've noticed when I haven't drank enough water, I need a little bit more of the water-based lubricant. But other than that, it still goes in easily. So stay hydrated. It really helps with your transition to stay hydrated. So yeah. Nothing else I can really think of that's been really going on with my transition. It's just happiness. Lots and lots of happiness. With it all. I'm just hoping to hear back about the revision surgery soon, so I don't end up having to call him to find out what's going on, or send him a message, an email, or something like that, and just my breasts filling in. And hopefully the scar tissue, that's what little is left, goes away soon. Because I have a little bit of scar tissue still left. It's on my right labium major, the upper part, where they had to put more, because it's the upper part where they have to put more stitches than the rest of it. It's that spot. And mostly on the right side, where the vaginal canal connects to the perineum. It's just one spot right there. The left side seems to be going away, but the right side is still there. So especially when I use like a vibrator, because the thing is, dilating helps to lengthen and widen the canal, but it's not good for scar tissue. But with dilators, because the vibrations and whatnot helps to promote blood flow and helps heal the scar tissue. So whenever I use a vibrator to dilate instead of the actual dilator, I've noticed more healing happens, and it's been helping with the scar tissue, on top of the awesome pleasure it gives. About that, my vaginal canal has full feeling. So yeah, this last month when I've been dilating, I've been feeling it, the whole dilator in there, every bit of it. And there's been some spots where I'm like, that spot's kind of pleasurable, but that spot is kind of a little uncomfortable, because like the very back of the vaginal canal, I know there's a spot I felt it was a pleasurable spot, and there's also a spot that's kind of an uncomfortable spot. if it gets pressed against. Not like painful, but the best way I can say it is having sexy time, and if you're cisgender and your cervix keeps getting hit against, a discomfort that could be like that. It's just like if it hits the back of the canal, the bottom half, and that pleasurable spot is on the upper half towards the back of the canal. So I had a few moments where, like, if my canal was just a little bit longer, where it could hit that pleasurable spot without that spot, that's a little discomforting. But sometimes that discomfort spot is also pleasurable. So yeah, it is. So that's what's been happening, how I've been feeling about that. So a lot of times I get the dilator in there, I'm like, I really feel all that. Yep. So I was happy with the surgeon I went with and how functional they've gone it to be, because that's also helping with my dysphoria. And I've also noticed the clitoris and the clitoral hood is really good and functional, which I've noticed with the right stimulation on my clitoris, I'm able to squirt, which I've never had it happen with it, like I can say, a massage one before. It used to just be either before surgery I had to be anal to get to the G spot, and after surgery through the vaginal canal, because I haven't tried anal or anything like that since surgery, just vaginal. So hitting the G spot long enough, I'm able to squirt. But this new experience, just using a massage wand on the clitoris itself and experiencing squirting, has helped my dysphoria. Awesomely enough, it has. So I'm able to come multiple times, which is so weird. When I come, I don't feel it unless I climax. Then I feel it. When I feel the climax within the clitoris, that's when I feel the coming. So, but if it's just vaginal stimulation and I come, I don't feel it. Like, I don't feel myself coming. But I do feel it when I squirt. So I'm able to come multiple times, squirt multiple times, and orgasm multiple times. And I'm able to orgasm without coming and squirting. I'm able to squirt a bunch of times and come a bunch of times. And I notice I can actually come without orgasming as well. And squirting, I've noticed with the way my body reacts to that, is stimulating long enough. I end up having multiple orgasms before I end up squirting. So yeah, so I haven't experienced squirting without orgasming. So that's how functional it is, and how wonderfully, awesomely connected it is with all the things I've been doing to help with my self-love and reconnection with my body. especially on like the spiritual, like magical tantra side of things. And if I can recommend one person, the teachings who I've been going on is Layla Martin. Go look up her stuff in her website and on YouTube. And yeah, so other than that, that's pretty much what's been going on. So until my next video, please comment, rate, and subscribe. And boo.